History was made on August 14, 2008, when the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the coast of West Africa handed over the oil-rich Bakassi Peninsula in the Gulf of Guinea to the Republic of Cameroon in Central Africa. This was about 6 years after the October 10, 2002 landmark judgment that awarded the peninsula to Cameroon at the International Court of Justice, ICJ, which is the principal judicial organ of the United Nations, located at the Peace Palace in The Hague, the Netherlands. What you are looking at is River Akwayafe, and we are standing right at the bank of this river here in Cross River State, South Nigeria. This river is actually the international boundary between Nigeria and the Republic of Cameroon. And the green vegetation you are seeing over there is the oil-rich Bakassi Peninsula that was ceded by Nigeria following the court judgment to Cameroon. And we are also told by the natives here that once you get across the river, the Cameroonian police, the gendarmes, are there keeping watch 24 hours. And we must also tell you that the villages from where the displaced persons of Bakassi, who are now taking refuge in other parts of Cross River State, actually came from villages in this oil-rich area of this region.
When we recalled our joining right from 2008, June 2008, when the Cameroonians have burned our house, burned our property, captured our young men, killings, 1,000 of youth. It is the situation that when we recall. Then 2008, we have been in Ikang Primary School, and after then, they promised that they will resettle us in where we will have source of livelihood. Then we don't have any option. We go back to our remaining part of land, Peninsula, Efuruburi Court, Peninsula 2008. We start to virgin the forest. We start our normal life there with a token that the state government have been provide us that time 15,000 naira. We doing well that our mind have been ready to resettle in that place. Then 2012, when the place were open, the Cameroon government have come in again, telling us that before we be able to stay in there peacefully, we must change our identity to the Cameroon. And also, even that farm, that area that we cultivate, we know that it is our land. The tax there that they ask us to pay, which is also, if we want to change, in about 900,000 francs, if we have been changed, it's very fast sum in naira amount, which even our plantation, they cannot meet the tax. Then we have not paying. The people seen us as the stubborn people. When 2012 June, they captured some of our young men to punish them in Yaoundé, that they is being stubborn. They give them another name as the militant. Then 2013 March, where there have been full attack of Cameroonians meet us. They send our women away. The young men have been able to run, but they have not killed our babies. But only they look for the young men, then we run for our safety.
I lost my wife when the incident happened.
In Cameroon or here?
In Cameroon.
Okay, what happened?
The problem in Cameroon, we stayed there for many years. 2008, we were there when the Nigerian government sold the land to Cameroon. So in that 2 years, we came back to Nigeria. We stayed at Ikang. By God's grace, they settled us with a little money. That money did not do us anything. We use that money to pay back to Cameroon. We travel back to Cameroon, go and look for our living. So we were here for many years, no problem, but there's a little time where the Yandans came and told us that we should quit from that place because they want to use the land for their own planting. So we did not expect that they would be able to come and send us away immediately. So we were there fishing, doing farming. We won't find there. They came full with their ammunition. Where they came, they started shooting. Everybody will run, some people were scattered. Even some people went to fish. They heard and come back, they did not see their families. So that is where I came back. I look for my woman. I'm only seeing my only son. The rest of the people I did not see. When I asked my son, he was crying, said I did not see a moment. So when I went into water to find way to bring canoe so that my people we should quick back to Ifiang. When I see the death of the woman inside the water. So that is where...
So perhaps she was running into the water, she drowned.
It flows down. I see where they can't meet him at the chest. So when I carry him up, it was a very loss to me. I started crying.
Each returnee in this camp has suffered from one heartbreaking life experience or the other in the hands of the Cameroonian authorities. But their stories which they share with us today are unfortunately what most Nigerians and the rest of the world have not heard about because they are long a forgotten people. Instructively, the letter and spirit of the 8-article agreement between Nigeria and the Cameroon, which eventually paved the way in 2008 for the implementation of the 2002 ICJ judgment, as signed at the Green Tree in New York, the United States of America, now known as the Green Tree Agreement, has been violated with impunity. The famous Green Tree Agreement, midwife by the then United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan, provides in its Article 3, and I quote, Cameroon, after the transfer of authority to it by Nigeria, guarantees to Nigerian nationals living in the Bakassi Peninsula the exercise of the fundamental rights and freedoms enshrined in international human rights law and in other provisions of international law. In particular, Cameroon shall not force Nigerian nationals living in the Bakassi Peninsula to leave the zone or to change their nationality. Respect their culture, language, and beliefs. Respect their rights to culture, language, and beliefs. Protect their property and their customary land rights. Not levy in any discriminatory manner any taxes and other dues on Nigerian nationals living in the zone, and take every necessary measure to protect Nigerian nationals living in the zone from any harassment or harm. There are no records of what the Nigerian government has done to protect her vulnerable nationals living in the ceded Bakassi Peninsula from reported Cameroonian aggression since 2008. We sought to speak with the country's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, but our request for media interview dated April 4, 2017 has not been honored till date. Why the 4 countries of Germany, the United States of America, France, and the United Kingdom, as witnesses to the famous Green Tree Agreement, have kept sealed lips over the abuse and killing of Nigerians in the ceded Bakassi Peninsula since 2008, the United Nations in 2017 chose to call them stateless people. We approached the Cameroonian embassy in Nigeria to get the position of its home government on the allegations by Nigerians from the Bakassi Peninsula. But despite acknowledging receipt of our letter dated September 26, 2016, the embassy officials have not reached out to us till date. In the meantime, irrespective of what Nigerians still living in the Bakassi Peninsula suffer in the hands of the Cameroonian gendarmes and authorities on a daily basis, the career president of the Republic of Cameroon, Paul Biya, was conferred with the honorary citizenship of Abuja when he paid state visit to Nigeria on May 3, 2016. With perhaps no policy guiding the conferment of the honorary citizenship of Abuja, the Nigerian capital, on visiting heads of state and government by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, the honor to 84-year-old Paul Biya, who, though the long-time president of neighboring Cameroon, hardly visits Nigeria, is a questionable reward for that Central African country and its leader. This is Straight Talk, and I am TV Tiav. The story of the Bakassi Peninsula today is not the ceding of the oil-rich territory to Cameroon, but the plight and fate of the thousands of its original inhabitants who have been abandoned after they were practically chased out of their ancestral homes.
When you leave your village.
This is how the day begins in the camp where thousands of the Bakassi persons have been taking refuge with their families and children. We arrived at the camp just by the break of day to meet a people who are barely holding on to a future that is way out of their creation and control. This is how families are fed here in the camp, where small rations of available food is shared and distributed amongst over 965 households of 3,720 people. In this small store where the academic records of pupils and children are still sharing a space, there were just a few bags of rice, cartons of noodles, and about 8 jerrycans of palm oil left, with no idea of where the next meal will come from when these donations are exhausted.
We think that we cannot share this food, and we don't know the next hope. Rather, we decide that food to remain for our elderly's want. At least to tithe 3 cups of rice for them to take care of themselves at least 1 day or 2 days and their family.
During the time we came here, they bring us food every time, but now it's very hard. But just present time now, they have bring us food now. Some of us used to go out for work and help people, so from there we get food to eat.
This is 4-year-old Juliet Bassi, who we are told was born in this camp. Unfortunately, she lost her mother shortly after she was born. Like hundreds of other children in the camp, she is out of school because her father cannot afford to pay her school fees. But her dream is to be a lawyer someday.
Have you been to school before?
No, uncle.
Okay, so how did you learn how to speak English?
From the camp.
What of your mom?
My mom is there.
Do you have other brothers, sisters?
Yes, uncle.
Okay. Do you want to go to school?
Yes, uncle.
What do you want to be in life when you grow up?
I want to be a lawyer.
You want to be a lawyer. But are there some children in this camp that are not going to school?
Yes, because of no money. That is why they are not going.
What of your children?
They are all here.
Okay. Are they going to school?
Yes, it's only one that somebody come and pick her to the town, to school there.
There is no money, thing just like that. You know, when once you don't have money, sometimes they used to drive him away from his school fee, and I don't have that money. There's many of our boys who can go to university. There's no money for you to send your children or your child to university. No money for you to send your son to secondary school. That's the challenge we have. If the federal government can help us for our children to go to school, the main problem I have is that they should come and help our children, at least Bakassi children, free education for them. Even up to university, we should have thanked them. God will bless them.
Angry that the ceding of the Bakassi Peninsula in 2006, which also stripped it of its status as an oil-producing state, was done by the federal government without its involvement and participation, the Cross River State government in South Nigeria, until recently, was not bothered about the plight of the Bakassi returnees. Today, with a state governor who has openly whipped on a number of occasions over the dehumanizing conditions the returnees live under. We took the case of Juliet Bakassi and the other children in the camp who are out of school to the Cross River State Governor, Professor Ben Ayadi.
Here you are having a little kid, by no circumstance of our own construction, finds herself at the age of 4, uneducated, and that will extend indefinitely if nothing is done. Don't forget that that's just a happenstance, that's the one you met. But find a situation, you find in the situation people who are already 16, 17, 18, who were born in that circumstance, way back 2006 and backward. They have grown in that circumstance, so they have no school, they have no education whatsoever. So what are they? The society calls them militants. They start carrying arms because as they watch their mother and father live in that open hall, at the mercy of mosquitoes and snakes, with no idea of how they are going to pass that day to the next day, the children become very, very energized, charged and armed and ready to do violence because that's what they agree to see, lack of love. Then we go around after them and call them militants and shoot them down. We can't create that cycle of inhumanity. It's unacceptable. If you really want to measure your growth as a country, measure it by how the most vulnerable are protected. That is what shows growth. Growth is not the skyscrapers, the number of, it's not it. It's not it at all. Unfortunately, in sluggish economies, which is particularly our case, those are the few indices that we will use to measure progress of a nation. And that's why I think that the densification of social amenities for the people of Bakassi is critical. And I'm happy you have mentioned this case in time, and I will definitely ask my team to pick up all of such situations, and let's send them to school even ahead of the readiness of their own place, so that at least they can start having values. What we're doing, we're not providing them shelter, we're providing accommodation. And you must know the difference, housing and shelter. Housing and accommodation, as it were, provides for all the other accessory social infrastructures, including schools, roads, hospitals, and what have you.
As expected, for everyone in the camp, leaving the open classrooms that have remained their home for about 10 years now to houses they can call their own is their immediate need. And for the very first time, the Cross River State government is set to construct new houses for the resettlement of some of the Bakassi returnees, with the cost put at about 6 million naira per 2-bedroom flat and 1.5 billion naira for 250 houses. However, the federal government claims that it has spent over 37 billion naira on the resettlement of the displaced people of Bakassi, a development that points to how some persons may have allegedly fed fat on monies that were meant to address the unending sufferings of the traumatized Bakassi people.
After the ceding of Bakassi to the Republic of Cameroon, vis-à-vis the Supreme Court judgment between Cross Rivers and Akwa Ibom, the Commission received a letter from Minister of Justice and the Attorney General of the Federation and the Government of Cross River State, requesting the Commission to invoke its constitutional power under Section 5, Subsection 7 of the Revenue Act 2004 to augment the allocation of Cross River State. We went through the program, we went through the request very well, and approved the release of, instant release of 15 billion naira and monthly 500 million naira, no, 15 billion naira and 500 million naira every month for the period of 2 years. At the expiration of the 2 years, also the state government requested for extension. as the normal procedure also, the technical team had to come and verify what so far had been done with the area release. We came here last year and we inspected the project and went back to the commission, and also the commission approved and recommend 500 million naira for another 2 years, which will expire May this year. From our record, as at February this year, the Commission has so far direct release of 37.5 billion naira. That means at the end of May this year, Cross River State will receive 39 billion naira cumulatively. Towards the end of last month also, His Excellency wrote to the Commission requesting the Commission to permanently augment Cross River with the sum of 2 billion naira every month.
I would not want us to go on financial terms, because if it is, we will go before, and we're considering that option, to take the federal government to court. You have violated all the principles, rules, and regulations, including all international conventions on how you cede a territory of a nation. And so, because we've done so, we're going to ask for $3 trillion. How can a people feel a sense of captivity in a nation they call their own? So this visit is a God-sent visit. And we are not in a position to accept an extension of 500 million a month. Take it. We don't need it. You give us a permanent injury and provide a temporary solution. How does it work?
There are rumors here and there that in the past monies have been given for which there's been no proper record of them and no proper, settlement. We think that if need be, it should be probed for us to find out what has happened. And if there's need that the money sent was not enough, then they can go ahead and give more money to ensure. Because in the first instance, the country as a nation, considered to the city of Bakassi.
The man that came and said he gave Cross River 30-something billion, and that they came to see the project that they used the money to do. Where is the man? This money, we don't understand up till now. Was it for Bakassi resettlement, Bakassi development, or it was for state government? For other things, I don't know. I've not been told. As we speak, nobody from Bakassi can easily tell you that, oh, this is what has happened. From 2002 till now, I must confess that nothing has changed in respect of resettlement of the people affected. Mr. President, National Assembly, Cross River State House of Assembly, all Nigerians of goodwill to wade into this matter on our behalf. We have tried our best to keep our people calm.